Hi there, welcome to a series of videos called English for Emerson. You know, it's just absolutely unbelievable what Emerson has to put up with. And today, this is going to be on a whole nother level. I even got my animal print shirt on. Today we're going to be talking about something that I don't know that I ever would thought that I would have brought up on this channel, but we're doing it anyway. This channel goes in weird directions. Today we're talking about the Renaissance. Because I brought this up in the last video, it's like, well, now I got to do a video about that. Here we go. I'll put it up on the screen. The Renaissance, strange word. It means a rebirth. This came about in Europe after many years of the Black Plague or the Black Death. This horrible bacteria was brought to Europe from China along the Silk Road, and it spread like wildfire and killed off a tremendous number of people. It killed off so many people that it ushered in a new era in Europe called the Renaissance, where people were kind of freed up from the restrictive, oppressive leadership of the government and the church and the society. And it just kind of got stripped away by all this disease and death to the point where people were kind of freed up to basically do new things, new business, new paintings, new music, new science, new thought. Do you understand me? It was a rebirth of culture, the Renaissance. Okay, here we go. That's what we're talking about today. We talked last time how the Renaissance brought forth a new type of economics, a new type of entire society in Europe based on capitalism. And that was business that was owned by private people for profit. It's like, well, everybody's dying. I'm going to start a business. Maybe making coffins. Maybe making coffins for the people to be buried in or something like that. I don't know. Maybe making tombstones. Something to make some money. Do you follow me? People had new ideas about how to start a business and get ahead in this crazy world. And they were able to do this because there was so much upheaval. Upheaval means shifting in the government and the church and society that people were pretty much able to get away with new things. And one of those things was business. One of those things was in the arts. I'm going to put up some paintings of the Middle Ages, the medieval times, the times before the Renaissance. You can see that these paintings are what you'd call two-dimensional. It's just up and down. That's one dimension, kind of, and side to side. There's no depth to the painting. It's just up and down, side to side. This is very, very basic paintings, kind of like a coloring book, is what these paintings are like. They're nice to look at, but there's not very much what you'd call depth to the painting. You can't see the shadows of the different parts of the eyes and the ears and the muscles that you can't. You know, they didn't really understand the human body. There was painters that came along during the Renaissance that literally studied the human body. They studied corpses, dead people, to try to figure out what was underneath the skin. How did everything work? They learned all about the human body, and they made incredible sculptures and paintings. One of whom was an artist by the name of Michelangelo. I'll put his picture up here, or a painting of him. They didn't have a photography technology at that time. But he did incredible sculptures. I'll put a couple of them up here. One of David, the guy who killed Goliath. You can see the incredible detail in the muscles of the chest and the shoulders and the arms. Nothing had been done like this before in art. Another one of Mother Mary holding Jesus after the crucifixion. Maybe one of his most famous works. It's all three-dimensional. Do you follow me? It's got up and down, side to side, and it's got depth. You can see all the intricate features. It's very realistic. It actually looks like a real person in the sculpture, instead of just like kind of fake. Take a look at the paintings of the Sistine Chapel, which is in Italy, in the Vatican, the head of the Catholic Church. He painted all these pictures on this arch Well, that's another thing that came along was architecture of buildings in the Renaissance. But anyway, he painted all these incredible paintings on this inside of this church, depicting scenes from the Bible. But all of them were very, very realistic. It looked like magnificent, larger than life pictures that looked like you could tell what the people were feeling and almost what they were thinking by the expressions on their faces. And you could tell what every single muscle was in their body. The artists were freed up to paint anything they wanted and paint in whole new ways during the Renaissance. Do you follow me? Another thing was the changes in music. Music at the time of the medieval times or the Middle Ages before the Renaissance, I'll play a little bit of it, see if I can get it to record. But it was just kind of plain. It's nice. But you can think of it as a little bit depressing maybe, and kind of, it's not very multi-dimensional. They're just kind of singing together. Probably words from the Bible. And now we're going to go to a composer called by the name of Monteverdi in the Renaissance, okay? He's composing music. Now listen to the difference, okay? We're really going out on a limb here in this edition of English for Emerson. I mean, this we're really stepping out here a little bit. Now try this one, okay? This is from the Renaissance. Claudio Monteverdi. Okay, here we go. There's two different things going on. You got the instruments, and you got the singing over here. And the music. And then we got the voices again. And there was acting, kind of along with the music. And emotions, and they're pausing. It kind of changes pace. There's a lot more going on is what I'm trying to say. Oh, here comes my air conditioner. It's going to mess up my video. Listen, there's a lot of difference in between these two different kinds of music, between the medieval period, the Middle Ages, and the Renaissance. There's multi-dimensional. It speeds up, it slows down, it goes to the instruments, it goes to the vocals. The emotions change. Do you follow me? It's multi-dimensional. This is what changed from the Renaissance. Art became multi-dimensional. Music became multi-dimensional. Business became multi-dimensional. And science changed dramatically. During the Middle Ages, they invented things that were very important, like eyeglasses, for example. They figured out to help people who couldn't see very well see better by using eyeglasses. It was developed, I can't remember the guy's name, but they were popularized by a monk in Italy again, I believe. There's a lot of this was happening in Italy. And it helped people for hundreds of years to be able to see now who couldn't because of eyeglasses. I tell you what, without these things, I would struggle because I can't see very good up close anymore. I can see fine far away, but with up close, now I can actually see what's going on. Without these, I'd be in big trouble. I couldn't saw. a piece of wood at work accurately. I couldn't screw things in with my screwdriver accurately. I couldn't see the screw anymore. Now that I'm older, because I can't see things up close. These are if I didn't have these, I'd be in trouble. We have the Middle Ages to thank for that. But during the Renaissance, there was this scientist by the name of Galileo Galilei. Is that correct? He was I believe, in the town of Pisa in Italy. He was like, well, these lenses are good, but what else can I do with these? He developed a telescope to look up into the stars. Again, it's multi-dimensional. Do you follow me? It's not just about this reality. It's about seeing into a whole nother reality. Also, microscopes to be able to see bacteria, to see things that are extremely small. In the Renaissance, the scientists developed things to see beyond what just here and now is multidimensional. And Galileo, developed the hypothesis. This is an idea, a scientific idea, that the heavenly bodies, the planets and the sun and everything, were circling around in orbit. The planets were circling the sun in an orbit. Therefore, the Earth, he thought, might be circling the sun as well. Once a year, goes around. And therefore, the Earth was going to be round like these other planets that he could see through the telescope. It's a completely revolutionary idea that the Earth was round. Most people thought it was flat at that time. Well, this gave Christopher Columbus, studying these works, he was an avid scholar, the idea that if the Earth was round, he could discover a new trade route to China by going across the Atlantic Ocean. The Renaissance in Europe produced these new ideas. Incredible time of innovation and change. And Europe brought forth this idea of one guy, Christopher Columbus, that he could sail across the Atlantic Ocean, find the new trade route to China, and therefore discovered America by accident. Had it not been for this Renaissance in Europe, who knows how long it would have taken for that idea to come along and for someone to make that journey. I don't know. I hope you found it interesting about the Renaissance. We got 4 people, I don't know how many, but Michelangelo, Monteverdi, Galileo, and another one, Christopher Columbus. All Italians who changed the world with their new ideas and new inventions and new ways of looking at things during the Renaissance. Multi-dimensional thinking. And we'll see you next time on English for Emerson. Bye-bye.